Hey everybody, John Troutman here on Truth or Comfort, and I'm happy to have a friend of mine and a phenomenal real estate investor, Chris Hanson, on the call today. Hey Chris, how are you?
What's up, John? Thanks for
Yeah,
having
no,
me.
thank you. You guys, just it's an honor having Chris on. He is hey, I just saw you on the cover of the Business Journal here in Phoenix. Impressive. You got a lot of stuff going on. Uh, you guys, for those of you that don't know or are not familiar with Chris or Hanson Capital, and I'll let you tell the story, but Chris does bigger stuff, bigger deals. Like there's a lot of us investors that maybe do wholesaling to maybe fix and flips, and then maybe some multifamily. There's a handful of us doing, some commercial stuff, but Chris is doing next level commercial stuff. But it doesn't mean that he was just given that. And I want to talk about kind of how you got into it. But you know, that being said, like let's hear it from you. Like, how did you get involved with real estate?
Yeah. Well, let's start with the bottom then. The first property I bought was a $36,000 house at the foreclosure auction, at the foreclosure steps, back in 2008. Like a lot of people, I got kind of caught up in the housing crisis, and I was dating a girl. Her dad had a very large yacht. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
20, 25, and said, how did, what is this from? And he said, real estate. I was like, sweet. Where do I sign up? What do I do? Like 130 foot mega
Wow.
kind of thing. And he was like, he was getting crushed at the time. He's a home builder. He had big, subdivisions and everything everywhere. And he said, I'd go look at those foreclosures. So I started looking around on the internet. And at that time, there wasn't as much about, how to make money flipping houses and that kind of thing. But I bought the first house, cash advanced a credit card, and went and bought it at the auction.
So that was your first introduction. You got into basically fix and flip and wholesaling, or what was your
Yeah.
passion back then?
So that at that time it was fix and flip.
Okay.
Um, I bought three of them in pretty short order, and I got a realtor to help me assess whether they were good deals or not. And then I would go down to the auction and bid on them myself. Um, and then I was calling guys on Craigslist to figure out, hey, this thing looks like shit. We need to make it look better. And well, let's do carpet. And I mean, I was hiring the worst of the worst contractors. I didn't know any better. And, just struggled my way through it. I used to sit there every day at the flips and watch them work. So I figured I needed to understand how it worked if I was going to make any money doing that. Um, Luckily, I didn't make the classic mistake a lot of guys do of actually doing the work, right? I never picked up a hammer. Somebody smart said, don't ever pick up a hammer unless you want to work for what you can pay somebody to lift it for you,
Right.
Um, and I was around the auctions. I had people that, they were charging $3,000 to go bid at the auction. And I thought that was bullshit. So I bought a Prius and I wrapped it with a bidding service. And cut the price down to $1,500 to buy a house at the auction. And then I went around early in the mornings, like 4 to 6 a.m. every day, and put stickers on all the houses that I thought were good on the list that said foreclosure notice. And homeowners would get pissed about it. It wasn't meant to be, hurting them, but it was marketing. And like I had guys call and threaten me, like, you put this foreclosure notice on my house. Like, bro, your house is selling today at the auction. If you didn't know that, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And then I got into apartments shortly thereafter. I realized I was not good at fix and flipping houses. I don't have the design eye for it. I mean, I did okay. There was money to be made, but in that time in Phoenix, houses were depreciating. So we were just doing the fix and flip with the, paint and carpet special, throw it back on the MLS and try and blow it out. And we would usually, we were trying to get that done before it depreciate past us making money. So it wasn't uncommon to lose money on flips. I've talked to other guys who were doing it at the same time, and some of them agree with me, some of them don't. So maybe I was just really bad at it. But we were buying apartments for $10,000 a door, and renovating. Same thing, paint and carpet on an apartment building, you make more money. So
Yeah, plus the
Go
cash
ahead.
flow, right? I mean, yeah, it seemed like I came down into the Phoenix market a few years after 2012 is when I entered into Phoenix, but maybe 2011, 12, yeah. But yeah,
That was a phenomenal year. Things were going up that
yeah,
time really cool.
yeah, no, they were. There were still deals to be had, but you had to be really on it. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
learned some lessons in this market, um, you know, with some of those realtors and anyways, some of the deals learning the areas. Yeah, for sure. So
So the funny thing about that was, you know, in 12 I was buying buildings um, for at the time what seemed like a lot of money. I'd pay like one of them I remember really well because we bought it in 13. We bought it in 12 actually. We paid 1.6 for 72 doors. Um, right? Like, gee, that seems like a decent price, and it was sub 20 grand a door,
yeah,
right? And we put about three-quarters of a million into it. Um, and this group talked me into holding it because I was going to wholesale it. So I ran a bidding company that I built the list of customers with that kind of guerrilla marketing, putting the bidding stickers out and driving around. I hired a guy to drive around and put stickers on every foreclosure house every day and just marketed the shit out of the bidding company. And then I kind of switched to apartment buildings, and I would get them tied up, and then I'd wholesale it to my list of bidders. And I just kept trying to get the list. I got the list of the Arizona MLS at one point from a title company.
so you're working these back angles. Like I'm just, I don't know this part, and so I'm curious. Like I heard you mention your girlfriend's dad at the time, totally
Yeah.
different space. He's in building, you know. So
Yep.
I imagine he wasn't a mentor. Did you have a mentor? It sounds like you kind of were like just following everybody, kind of watching what people observing and how do I make it better? How do I monetize this?
Yeah, I didn't have anybody to help me out with that stuff. I mean, I'll give him credit. He told me real estate, but he wasn't rooting for me. I was hanging out with his daughter. He wasn't a. You could say he was a fan, but not. He wasn't as helpful as he could be, and he was dealing with a lot of his own stuff. So I had to learn a lot of stuff through trial and
Right.
error, and a lot of the things that I learned through that. I don't want to go start that over. And I didn't have the best method for everything, but running from '08 to now, we've seen, I'll say, a good portion of a market cycle because we haven't seen another major collapse, right? But there was a ton of lessons to be learned. But I mean, there was just no replacement for work. I was working 7 days a week from 6 a.m. till 9 or 10 at night, and that's what I couldn't make up for. I knew I could outwork guys, so we were running a few businesses. We had the auction bidding service, so we were charging people to bid. We got into hard money lending, which about our bank and our banking platform. And then I got out of houses. We still operated as a service provider, but I started buying apartment buildings because I could buy them with so little money at the time. They would cash flow enough to cover the debt usually. I wasn't making any money off owning them, but I could get into that, and we could reposition a building and then resell it pretty easily. And there was big money in that.
So, I mean, it's, I know you made it sound pretty simple, like this transition into, like, was it really that?
Yeah.
And I know there's trials and stuff in there. Did you really go from flipping houses into the multifamily? And then if so, like maybe there's a step or two we're jumping over, but to where you're at right now, it's just,
No, it was that simple, John. That was it. I flipped the house. I was shitty at it, and then I was
you know,
like,
yeah, I'm going
what?
into multifamily and whatever else.